Let me ask you something. Have you ever found yourself searching for answers, feeling something deep within you stirring, but not even sure what questions to ask? If you're watching this now, it's no accident. You were meant to find this because you're ready. You've arrived at a moment in your life when you're prepared to uncover truths that have been hidden for generations. I used to be a pastor. I walked a path I believed was laid out for me, preaching, guiding others, and living by a faith I thought I fully understood. But everything changed the day I stumbled upon knowledge so powerful, so deeply transformative, it shattered my understanding of Jesus, of faith, and of what it means to be human. What I'm about to share cost me everything: my job, my reputation, even my place in the church. But I have no regrets, because once you see the truth, there's no going back. In spite of this, I was aware that I needed to proceed with my journey, since this truth is intended for those who are prepared to receive it. Not everyone will comprehend, and not everyone will have faith in what one is saying. Nevertheless, if you have discovered this video, you are not just any person. There are only a select few people, the chosen ones, who are prepared to go deeper beyond the surface and discover the deeper ties that exist between Jesus Christ and ancient heavenly creatures such as the Anunnaki. You join this exclusive group. You have been looking for answers, and now you have discovered them thanks to your efforts. Before we get started, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to this channel. Please share this video with anyone else you think would be interested in coming along with us on this trip. We will work together to unearth the secrets surrounding the birth of Jesus, his holy mission, and the unseen forces that may have led humanity for thousands of years. What would happen if Jesus Christ, the major character in the Christian religion, was not divine to begin with? If his miraculous birth and exceptional skills reflect a celestial ancestry, one that connects him to ancient beings known as the Anunnaki, then what would that mean? One of the most well-known stories in the annals of history is the one about the birth of Jesus. In addition to being born of a virgin, being hailed by a star, and being visited by wise men, the entrance of Jesus Christ was marked by signs and wonders that went beyond the conventional human experience. Let's say, however, that these miraculous components were not only of a spiritual nature, but also technological and genetic in nature. In Sumerian writings, the Anunnaki are characterized as intelligent beings that descended down from the heavens to earth. They were renowned for their capacity to alter DNA, steer the evolution of humans, and intervene in crucial points in history. Is it possible that Jesus was a part of their plan, which was to steer humanity through a period of spiritual and societal upheaval? Take this into consideration. A number of writings, both canonical and apocryphal, characterize Jesus as having a pedigree that is distinct from any other. The fact that he was born to a virgin was a miracle conception that went against the laws of nature. But this was not the first time that anything like this had taken place. It has been said that even Jesus' grandmother had a virgin birth, according to some apocryphal accounts. Exists the possibility that these events are the result of intentional genetic intervention, with the intention of establishing a powerful and pure bloodline? Furthermore, the skills that are attributed to Jesus, such as his capacity to heal, raise the dead, and even resurrect himself, are startlingly similar to the descriptions of advanced technology and procedures that are linked with the Anunnaki. Rejuvenation chambers, genetic manipulation, and profound knowledge were some of the methods that were utilized by creatures like as Enki in Sumerian stories in order to lengthen life, create hybrids, and guide humanity. Is it possible that the miraculous life and resurrection of Jesus represent the use of such cutting-edge techniques? The answers to these questions take us beyond the conventional religious narratives and provide us with the opportunity to gain a more profound comprehension of the genuine beginnings of Jesus. Is it possible that he was not only the Son of God, but also the product of advanced celestial creatures such as Enki, who desired to elevate humanity by his presence? We are going to investigate the astonishing links that existed between Jesus and the Anunnaki throughout this series. We will unearth the hidden realities that lie beneath the myth of the Messiah, beginning with the virgin births that established his bloodline and moving on to the technologies that may have permitted his resurrection. Did Jesus Christ actually exist as the divine figure that we have always believed in? Or was he a hybrid entity that was formed as part of a big cosmic plan? To get started on this voyage, let's investigate the circumstances surrounding his miraculous birth and the lineage that gave him his distinctive characteristics. The birth of Jesus, which is a supernatural event that is characterized as a virgin conception, is included among the most astounding features of the tale of Jesus. He is a divine person who is meant to change the world, and this particular aspect distinguishes Jesus from other people. What if, however, this occurrence was more than just a result of divine provision? What if it was the outcome of advanced genetic engineering that was organized by celestial entities such as Enki in order to establish a lineage that is capable of fundamentally altering the human race? According to the Bible, the Holy Spirit was the driving force behind Mary's conception of Jesus, who was a virgin. When it comes to human biology, this event is unprecedented, and it goes against the natural reproductive processes. On the other hand, when we investigate other ancient narratives, particularly those found in the Apocrypha, we discover something that is even more unexpected. In addition, it is stated that Mary's mother conceived by a miracle process of giving birth to a virgin. There is a possibility that this lineage of miraculous pregnancies is evidence of the intentional formation of a bloodline, one that was built for a particular purpose. According to Sumerian writings, the Anunnaki were believed to have possessed a highly developed understanding of genetics. It was specifically Enki who was referred to as a master of creation, as he was the one who was responsible for developing and perfecting humanity. He is supposed to have intervened at crucial periods in human evolution, frequently employing methods that sound very similar to modern genetic engineering. He is said to have led human evolution in the right direction. In the event that the Anunnaki possess the capability to manipulate DNA and produce hybrids, may the birth of Jesus be an example of their operations. In the tale of Jesus, the concept of a chosen lineage is not something that is uncommon. In numerous ancient books and traditions, we come across references to unique lineages that were either created by divine beings or blessed by divinities. The concept of divine or celestial fatherhood is present in myths from cultures all over the world. These stories range from the Greek gods fathering demigods to the Sumerian descriptions of entities descending to Earth to impact the history of humanity. The ramifications are significant if we take into account the fact that Jesus was born without a mother as part of a bigger plan. It gives the impression that his landing was not a happenstance. Advanced beings who were aware of the significance of his participation were responsible for the careful orchestration of the event. Enki, who is frequently depicted as humanity's benefactor in Sumerian lore, may have taken a direct role in this process. He may have made certain that Jesus would bear the genetic characteristics and spiritual knowledge that were necessary to govern humanity during a crucial era. An additional noteworthy aspect is the idea that these bloodlines are completely free of impurities. The birth of Jesus as a virgin ensured that his lineage would not be corrupted by the corruption of earthly conditions, so preserving his divine character. This emphasis on purity is consistent with the Anunnaki's purported efforts to develop and preserve superior human hybrids by combining characteristics of the heavens and the earth in order to achieve particular results. When we dive further into the account of Jesus, it becomes abundantly evident that his birth was more than just a miraculous event. It was the climax of a plot that may have begun a significant amount of time before his initial arrival. Through the investigation of the virgin births that have occurred in his family tree and the connections that can be found in ancient myths, we have uncovered a story that questions the conventional interpretations and hints at a being that is beyond our comprehension. Imagine for a moment that the bloodline of Jesus was not divine. If it turned out to be a cosmic experiment designed to elevate humanity, guided by the knowledge and technology of beings such as Enki, what would that mean? As we go, we will investigate the ways in which these heavenly interventions may have influenced not just the life of Jesus, but also the signals that surrounded his coming. We will begin with the Star of Bethlehem, which is a celestial phenomena that may be the key to understanding his origins. Within the context of the Nativity story, the Star of Bethlehem is among the most recognizable symbols. Described as a dazzling light in the sky, it led the Magi to the site where Jesus was born, so announcing the arrival of a new king. However, what exactly was this enigmatic star? Was there a natural occurrence in the heavens? On the other hand, maybe it was something much more advanced, possibly even a representation of the technology that the Anunnaki had developed. The Magi, also known as wise men, were the ones who spotted his star in the east and followed it all the way to Bethlehem, according to the Gospel of Matthew. This star was not your typical celebrity. The movement of the Magi was meticulously planned, and it led them straight to the location where Jesus was lying. Various hypotheses ranging from comets to planetary alignments have been put forward by contemporary astronomers in an effort to explain the Star of Bethlehem. However, these natural explanations are not sufficient to explain for the celestial body's actions because they lack precision and aim. The significance of the star is completely transformed when we take into account the role that the Anunnaki played in the scenario. The Anunnaki were frequently associated with the heavens by the Sumerians, who referred to them as being extraterrestrial creatures who possessed extremely profound knowledge. Their writings describe flying vehicles and bright things that descended from the heavens using language that is hauntingly similar to that used in contemporary tales of unidentified flying objects, UFOs. Is it possible that the Star of Bethlehem was one of these sophisticated crafts that guided the Magi with a planned precision? In addition, the function of the star gives rise to several intriguing questions. For what reason would it only appear to the Magi, and why would it lead them to Jesus? It was not like other travelers that the Magi were. They were scholars, astrologers, and people who were seeking spiritual enlightenment. They had a profound understanding of the old traditions and the constellations. It is possible that the teachings of the Anunnaki, which were handed down from generation to generation, had an impact on their comprehension of astronomical events. If this is the case, then the star might have been a signal that was intended to be utilized by people who possessed the wisdom to comprehend its significance. The Anunnaki frequently communicated their will through the employment of signs and symbols as documented in Sumerian writings. Additionally, it was believed that they utilized cutting-edge technologies that had the ability to manipulate light energy and even celestial bodies. In the event that Enki, or another Anunnaki figure, was responsible for the birth of Jesus, the Star of Bethlehem could have been an intentional move on their part, serving as a beacon to signal the coming of a hybrid being who was destined to alter the path of humanity's history. The function that the star played in the fulfillment of the prophecy is another fascinating aspect. The emergence of a ruler who would be guided by a celestial sign was predicted in ancient Jewish literature, such as the Book of Numbers, which mentions a star that will emerge from Jacob. It is consistent with the Anunnaki's propensity for long-term planning and involvement that this prophecy is accurate. The Anunnaki may have been carrying out a plan that had been established many years prior to the birth of Jesus, if they were the ones responsible for the star. The voyage of the Magi is also reminiscent of themes that can be found in Sumerian traditions. According to these legends, wise individuals frequently traveled considerable distances in order to present their respects to divine hybrids or celestial entities. The gifts that they brought, which included gold, frankincense, and myrrh, have both a spiritual and a practical importance, leading one to believe that they had a grasp of the unique position that Jesus played in his background. In the event that the Star of Bethlehem was a sophisticated craft or technology, it would provide an explanation for its accuracy and function. However, it was not merely a light in the sky, a message, a sign, and a tool. It guided humanity to identify the arrival of a being who would bridge the gap between the heavenly and the earthly. It was a message, a sign, and a tool. In the following section, we will investigate still another essential aspect of the account of Jesus, which is his divine conception. Or might it have been the consequence of advanced genetic manipulation by creatures such as Enki, who intended to produce a perfect vessel for the spiritual progress of humanity? Was it genuinely a miracle, or could it have been caused by such manipulation? The miraculous conception of Jesus is one of the most perplexing aspects of the tale of Jesus. The arrival of Jesus Christ on earth is characterized as both divine and unprecedented. He was born of a virgin. However, despite the fact that this incident appears to be remarkable, it is possible that it was the product of a predetermined intervention which could have been orchestrated by none other than Enki, the Sumerian god of wisdom and creation. According to the Bible, the Holy Spirit is credited with Mary's conception of Jesus, which is a divine act that is beyond the comprehension of human beings. On the other hand, ancient books such as Sumerian narratives offer a framework that contains the potential to explain such an event by referring to high technology and genetic engineering. It was thought that the Anunnaki, who were renowned for their control over the creation process, have the capacity to influence life itself by combining human and divine characteristics in order to accomplish particular goals. As a result of his involvement in Sumerian mythology, Enki is an excellent choice for the duty of coordinating such an event. Enki was frequently portrayed as intervening in human events in order to guide, protect, and elevate humanity. He was described as a benefactor from the perspective of humanity. According to the Epic of Atrahasis, he is credited with the creation of humans by combining the heavenly essence with materials from the ground. There is a striking similarity between this process of merging human and celestial elements and the tale of how Jesus was conceived by God. As part of his investigation into ancient writings, Billy Carson draws attention to the recurrent motif of divine bloodlines and virgin births that can be found in a variety of religious traditions. Carson suggests that these occurrences could be the result of a concerted attempt on the part of more intelligent creatures to establish particular lineages that are able to exert an influence on the evolution of mankind. It is his contention that the virgin birth of Jesus, as well as the virgin birth of Mary's mother Anne, could be interpreted as a continuation of these studies in the heavens. In addition, the Anunnaki placed a strong focus on purity, which is consistent with the concept of a virgin birth. They were able to retain the characteristics that were vital for Jesus' mission by making certain that his genealogy was not tainted by the degradation of earthly life. This emphasis on genetic purity is mentioned multiple times in Sumerian narratives, which describe the creation of divine hybrids for certain duties. These hybrids frequently combine intelligent strength and spiritual insight. Taking into account the larger context of Jesus' life is what makes the conception of Jesus even more compelling. His exceptional talents, which include the ability to heal, walk on water, and even be resurrected, point to a being who possesses capabilities that are well above those of typical humans. The characteristics described here are consistent with those of hybrid Anunnaki people described in Sumerian scriptures. These hybrids were frequently blessed with improved physical and mental abilities. Moreover, Carson makes reference to the apocryphal sources that elaborate on the singular characteristics of Jesus. These scriptures describe Jesus as having the ability to transcend bodily restrictions, reincarnate at will, and exist across numerous realms. He also has the ability to exist in multiple dimensions. These descriptions are consistent with sophisticated beings such as Enki, who were supposed to reach near immortality through the utilization of rejuvenation chambers and consciousness transfer through the application of these techniques. Is it possible that the miraculous conception of Jesus served as the foundation for a human that was deliberately meant to exhibit these characteristics? The fact that Jesus' arrival was brought about on purpose is still another fascinating aspect. The Anunnaki, who are renowned for their ability to plan for the long term, frequently intervened during crucial points in the history of humanity. The birth of Jesus, which took place amid a period of political and spiritual upheaval, appears to be perfectly suited with the plan of the Anunnaki, which is to guide humanity through significant transitions. In the event that Enki was engaged, his objective might have been to present a person who was able to raise the level of human consciousness and bring about a state of equilibrium during a crucial time. When the concept of divine conception is considered through the lens of ancient technology and genetic modification, the story of Jesus is transformed from a unique miracle into a part of a greater cosmic narrative. In the event that Enki was the one who staged his birth, it would imply that Jesus was not only divine, but also a purposefully made hybrid with the intention of bridging the gap between the world of humans and the realm of the heavens. In the following sections, we will investigate the ways in which the teachings and deeds of Jesus reveal the influence of a more evolved becoming. Were his teachings solely spiritual, or do they contain echoes of the wisdom that, having been passed down by creatures such as Enki, who strove to shepherd humanity toward enlightenment, were imparting? The teachings of Jesus are among the most profound and enduring messages that have ever been communicated to humans. In addition to the significance of having a connection with the divine, they place an emphasis on love, compassion, and forgiveness. Could these teachings, however, disclose more than simply the wisdom of the spiritual realm? Is it possible that they are the reflection of the insights of an entity that possesses great knowledge and is designed to take humans to enlightenment? Jesus' remarks, which range from the Sermon on the Mount to his parables, encourage people to rise above their own self-centeredness and embrace a higher moral and spiritual purpose. His emphasis on humility and devotion to others is a reflection of ideas that appear to be timeless. Nevertheless, because they were spoken during an era in which they were delivered, they felt completely out of place. One of the most profound lessons that Jesus imparted was the idea of universal love known as love your neighbor as you love yourself. Beyond the social and political conflicts that existed during his day, this urge to treat others with compassion and empathy transcends its boundaries. It is a message that has a strong resonance with the concept of a higher cosmic order because it implies a perspective that views humans not as independent individuals, but rather as an interrelated collective. And take into consideration his emphasis on forgiveness. The exhortation of Jesus to forgive 70 times 7 goes beyond the realm of practical morality. It is a reflection of a philosophy that encourages humanity to break cycles of violence and vengeance, and it provides a route to peace and harmony. A viewpoint like this would imply that the individual is aware of the negative patterns that are associated with human nature, and that they have a desire to assist humanity in overcoming these patterns. The miracles that Jesus performed also had a deeper meaning. Aside from the fact that they are frequently seen as manifestations of divine power, they also symbolize his function as a healer and restorer. The ability to turn water into wine to feed hundreds of people with just a few loaves of bread and to settle storms are all examples of transformations that indicate an advanced understanding of the natural world. It is possible that they point to a creature that is capable of manipulating matter and energy in ways that are still beyond the knowledge of humans, even in the present day. A further noteworthy component of the teachings of Jesus is the use of parables in his teachings. These stories, which are simplistic yet profound, include multiple layers of meaning and are accessible to individuals with varying degrees of comprehension. In addition to imparting moral principles, they encourage more in-depth contemplation, which reflects a plan to stimulate thought and development throughout the course of time. This mode of training appears to be particularly well suited to the task of directing humanity toward a more profound knowledge of the spiritual and moral potential that it possesses. Even his assertion, "The kingdom of God is within you," invites humanity to turn internally for answers, recognizing the divine spark that is present in each and every person. Although this doctrine is spiritual in nature, it also offers a more profound comprehension of the potential that lies within human beings. This potential, if it were to be fulfilled, has the ability to dramatically alter the trajectory of human history. It would appear that the life and words of Jesus reflect not only a message for the time in which he lived, but also a vision for the future of humanity. The fact that he places such tremendous emphasis on universal truths, compassion, and inner development is suggestive of a more sophisticated perspective on what mankind is capable of becoming. Was he only a clever teacher, or was he giving lessons that were intended to raise human consciousness? So, bridging the gap between the earthly and the divine, the teachings he imparted continue to present us with challenges and inspire us, prompting us to contemplate our existence and our position in the expansive cosmos. Were these teachings solely spiritual, or do they contain echoes of advanced knowledge that was bestowed to humanity by a creature who grasped the potential of what we were capable of accomplishing? When it comes to the narrative of the birth of Jesus, the Magi are a fascinating character. They followed the Star of Bethlehem in order to pay their respects to the newborn Messiah. They were described as being wise men from the East. The fact that they were aware of the significance of the star and that they traveled on purpose gives the impression that they were more than mere tourists. It's possible that they were present at a cosmic occurrence that was meticulously planned and executed. Because of their experience in astrology and the fact that they recognized the star as a sign of a king's birth, the Magi had a significantly more advanced grasp of the phenomena that occur in the heavens. Such information was extremely uncommon even among the academics of the day. It is possible that the Magi had a connection to ancient wisdom traditions that went well beyond their immediate cultural or historical context, as evidenced by their ability to interpret the star and act upon its guidance. The journey that they took to Bethlehem was one that was planned and organized. Among the presents that they brought were gold, frankincense, and myrrh, all of which had significant symbolic meanings. Gold was a sign of kingship and prosperity. Frankincense was a representation of divinity and spiritual connection, and myrrh was associated with healing and preparation for the afterlife. Jesus' dual status as a spiritual teacher and a figure destined to transform both the earthly and the divine is reflected in these gifts, which demonstrate a profound knowledge of Jesus' function. The fact that the Magi are aware of the significance of the star provides possible evidence that they serve as messengers or keepers of old wisdom. The fact that they chose to honor Jesus with such reverence suggests that they understood him to be more than a simple child. It's possible that they viewed him as a member of a larger scheme, a figure whose birth marked the beginning of a new era in the annals of human history. Because of the accuracy of their voyage, which was directed by the star issues, are raised regarding the technology or understanding that was involved. There is a possibility that the star is more than just a natural celestial occurrence, because it was able to take them directly to the position of Jesus. It alludes to the existence of a directing force or technology that is able to manipulate light and space in order to convey a message that is unambiguous. In addition to their travel and gifts, the Magi are significant for other reasons as well. The fact that they are included in the account of Jesus' birth establishes a connection between him and a more comprehensive tale of divine intervention and ancient knowledge. At the same time that they bridge the gap between the heavens and humans, they represent the acknowledgement of the presence of divine or advanced influence on earth. Observers of the Magi were not chosen at random. As purposeful participants, they were a part of a moment that had been meticulously created. As a result of their comprehension acts and talents, which demonstrate a connection to knowledge that transcended their time and location, the birth of Jesus is regarded as an event of deep cosmic significance. Throughout the course of human history, the tale of Jesus has been presented as if it were truly a divine and spiritual occurrence. However, there are aspects of his story that imply a more profound and extensive connection between the two of them. Does this relationship have the potential to trace its roots back to the Anunnaki, and more specifically to Enki, whose actions in human history have been documented in Sumerian texts? Billy Carson draws attention to the fact that numerous narratives of divine personalities ranging from ancient texts to the Bible appear to overlap with stories of intelligent entities influencing the development of humans. In the case of Jesus, the motifs that are found in narratives of celestial entities producing hybrid people, including his virgin birth, exceptional powers and resurrection, are similar to those found in Christianity. Enki, who is well known for his position as a creator and defender of humanity, emerges as a major figure when all of these analogies are taken into consideration. The idea of knowledge that has been repressed is not a novel one. There are a number of ancient sources, such as the Apocrypha, and other writings that are not considered canonical that provide insights that challenge the conventionally accepted account of Jesus. His divine nature and the amazing occurrences that surrounded his life are frequently elaborated upon in these works, which have been purposefully omitted from the general teachings of conventional religions. These hints suggest that there is a lineage that has been purposefully cultivated and kept, and that it may be connected to heavenly entities like his Enki. The scientific and genetic improvements that are credited to the Anunnaki are also mentioned by Carson. These advancements are in line with certain aspects of the tale of Jesus. When examined through this lens, the concept that Enki could have used sophisticated techniques to bring about a birth that was free of any impurities is not completely out of the question. It is possible that the Anunnaki were able to develop a hybrid that was capable of bridging the gap between humans and the divine through scientific manipulation of genetics. There is also a recurrent motif of divine bloodlines, which is another piece of proof that is persuasive. The concept of Enki being responsible for establishing distinct lineages to guide humanity was frequently mentioned in Sumerian texts. This idea of chosen bloodlines coincides with the fact that Jesus was born into a virgin family, which suggests that his arrival was a part of a wider, more carefully planned intervention. According to one interpretation, the Star of Bethlehem II is an example of the influence of the Anunnaki. Because of its accuracy and function, it appears to be a piece of cutting-edge technology that led the Magi to the site where Jesus was born. The employment of celestial phenomena as means for communication and guidance is something that is constantly recorded in Sumerian texts. This event, which appears to be spiritual in nature, reflects this use. it is possible that the concealment of information that suggests a connection between Jesus and Enki and the Anunnaki was done on purpose. The broader narrative of humanity's relationship to sophisticated entities may have been concealed as a result of the fact that his story was framed purely as a supernatural miracle. It is possible that religious institutions that are attempting to keep control over spiritual narratives have regarded these links to be too controversial or disruptive to the current order. Carson emphasizes that ancient writings, architecture, and symbols frequently hold messages about the origins and purpose of humanity, messages that have been ignored or disregarded for a long time. When considered through this perspective, the narrative of Jesus becomes an essential component in comprehending the connection that exists between humankind and heavenly creatures. That his life was not only a spiritual mission, but also a continuation of a plan that had been set in action long before he was born, is suggested by this particular statement. Through the process of connecting the dots between ancient Sumerian texts, the Apocrypha, and the narrative of the Bible, we are able to unearth a story that involves intervention, guidance, and the concealment of truths. Not only as the Messiah, but also as a bridge between mankind and its celestial origins. The relationship that Jesus had with Enki and the Anunnaki provides a profound perspective on his function. There is no other narrative in human history that can compare to the tremendous and life-altering power of the story of Jesus. On the other hand, as we have discovered, it may also contain secret levels of meaning layers that relate his miraculous birth teachings and resurrection to an ancient cosmic plan. It is possible that Jesus the Messiah was a part of a major intervention that Enki and the Anunnaki had planned in order to raise humanity and guide us toward a deeper awareness of our potential. From the fact that he was born without a mother to the fact that the Star of Bethlehem guided him from heaven, every aspect of Jesus' existence pointed to something of great significance. Not only do his teachings, which place an emphasis on love, compassion, and spiritual development, accord with divine wisdom, but they also resonate with ideas that may be found in ancient manuscripts considered to have been written by evolved beings. If Enki, the benefactor of humanity, was involved in the process of engineering the arrival of Jesus, it would be in perfect alignment with his position as a defender and guide shaping the fate of humanity at crucial periods in history. The life of Jesus reminds us of humanity's unique place in the universe. As a species, we have the potential to rise above our limitations and connect with something far greater than ourselves. Whether you view his story as divine, celestial, or a blend of both, it challenges us to reflect on our origins, our purpose, and our place in this vast, interconnected cosmos. But that leads us to a question. Why has so much of this information been hidden for so long? Could it be that the connections between Jesus and the Anunnaki were deliberately suppressed, kept from public knowledge, to prevent us from understanding a deeper, more powerful version of our history? The clues have always been there within ancient texts, symbols, and forgotten stories, waiting for those willing to look beyond traditional narratives. The story of Jesus is not just a tale of faith, it is also a story of evolution, awakening, and the eternal link between humankind and the stars. The answers to some of our greatest questions may lie not only in the Bible, but also in the wisdom of ancient civilizations that came long before us. His life and legacy invite us to explore that possibility. If this exploration resonates with you, I invite you to join us on this journey to uncover more hidden truths about humanity's origins and its connection to the cosmos. By supporting us on Patreon, you'll gain access to exclusive content, deeper investigations into ancient mysteries, and the chance to become part of a growing community committed to seeking truth. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and join the conversation as we continue unraveling the mysteries that shape who we are. Together we can piece together the cosmic story that binds us all.